Welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on the Nintendo Switch. Wow, okay, so this is going to be quite an undertaking, potentially. I've honestly been putting this one off for a little bit just because I wasn't sure how I wanted to tackle it. So, if you don't know what Shovel Knight is, first of all, I would be surprised. It's pretty darn popular as far as indie games go. But secondly, if you haven't heard of Shovel Knight, then it's my pleasure to introduce you to this game. So Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, if you don't know, includes 4 full-length games that were released separately. Okay, so you've got Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope, you've got Plague of Shadows, you've got Spectre of Torment, and King of Cards. And each one of these 4 games features a different main character that you play as, who controls, they all control really quite differently from each other. And so, as you can tell from the visuals in the video, it's like a retro 8-bit style game. However, I can say that I don't think this would have quite run on an NES. I think there are probably too many colors on display at any given time for it to be authentic. But also, I don't care. It's not really about that to me. Some people get really hung up on that, and I don't. The bottom line is I enjoy the visual style. I love the chiptunes. Looks great, sounds great, plays great. So let's get into it. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a separate review for each one of these games, or if I was going to lump them all together. But honestly, I think I'm going to lump them all together because I don't have that much to say about each individual game. I mean, look, the bottom line of this entire review is going to be, if you like old school 2D, really the main idea of this entire channel, for the most part, is if you like old school 2D side-scrolling games, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to like it a lot. It's going to be great. So we'll start with Shovel of Hope. So in Shovel of Hope, you play as Shovel Knight. You play as the title character, Shovel Knight, and he controls actually a little bit like Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales, which is, if you know anything about DuckTales on the NES, or even the remaster, that's a huge compliment. Okay, so you have a short-range attack, and then you have a like an underthrust. Like from Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, or again, DuckTales. Like this, you've got this pogo attack, and you can bounce off of enemies' heads, and it's great fun to use. Also, another common theme with all 4 of these games is they do feature some RPG elements. So they're like 2D platformers with RPG elements. You can save up money and then, buy spells and abilities and things like that in shops in the game. You can also buy permanent health increases, permanent magic increases, etc., etc. The game, each one of these 4 games is pretty lengthy and fairly difficult, to be honest with you. The great fun. What else do I want to say? 2-player. Okay, so the only one of these 4 games that I've played 2-player is Shovel of Hope, and again, all I can really say is imagine a 2-player DuckTales on the NES, and it's an overly simplified description, but that'll give you an idea. Basically, you're in for a good time. It's fun. Okay, so, and then there's Plague of Shadows, which is my least favorite of the 4, and I don't know for sure, but I would guess that's probably a pretty common opinion. Your character, while the character has a cool design to him, he looks cool. He's got one of those old Plague Doctor bird mask things, but he controls really weird, and that's all I can really say about that. And his main attack is throwing bombs, which is like a little wonky, I feel like. So anyway, moving on, whatever. You get it for free anyways if you buy the package. Now, so then the next game is Spectre of Torment, and you play... So, of the 4 games, I feel like Spectre of Torment has by far the strongest story element. I just really enjoyed the story. So you play as this sort of Grim Reaper type character, but throughout the game, I don't want to spoil too much, but throughout the game, you'll go into these flashback scenarios in which you play as, as your character, as this Grim Reaper dude, back when he was immortal, when he was like a human, a mortal, and that really adds something to the game. It adds quite a bit to the game. Okay, a couple of the gameplay variations that he brings to the table is, one, he can climb up walls and, do wall jumps and that sort of thing, which is really cool and helpful. And the other thing that he can do is kind of weird to describe. It's not quite a bionic commando arm swing, it's more of like a slingshot. He sort of slingshots himself. And it's fun, and of course they come up with some ways to make it really, really challenging at times. But his is a cool campaign, or a cool game. And then finally you've got King of Cards, which is a little bit more humorous, I would say, is what they were going for with the story and the dialogue in that one. And his main attack is more like a Wario, like a dash forward type of thing. You ram into enemies. Although, like all the other games, you can unlock spells and abilities and so forth. So that's it, man. That's a real quick rundown on these games. You can, as long as you have, so money and points are really important in these games, because as long as you have gold, you can keep you have as many lives as you can pay for, basically. Not with real cash. I'm talking about in-game, like, gold that you find. And so when you lose a life, a percentage of your gold scatters, and with your next life you can make a point to go back and collect that gold. So it's as if you actually had lost nothing if you can survive to collect the gold that you lost from getting killed, which is a pretty cool mechanic. I like it. I'm a fan. Okay, so price. This game goes standard, at least on the eShop, for $40, and that may seem a little steep, but it's not. It really isn't. You're getting 4 full-length games here, and I'm not talking about like, back in the day you could finish an NES game in like an hour. That's not the case here. I'm sure there's speedrunners out there that could complete one of these games in one sitting, but for most of us, who haven't played these games 1,000 times, it's going to take you definitely more than one sitting to complete any of these games. Never mind all 4 of them. And so I say 100%, it's absolutely worth $10 a game, is what it comes out to. But you buy them as a package, and the Treasure Trove is what it's called, and you get all 4. There are you can play these games as co-op, and they are great fun. Or like you play the main campaign as like a co-op, or alternatively, there's like, if I remember correctly, there's like this weird sort of Smash Brothers-ish game mode that you can play if you have other people who are interested in that. To be honest with you, and this is gonna make some people grumpy, but whatever. I am not personally a huge Smash Brothers fan, so that didn't hold a lot of interest to me, but it could be a real selling point for some people out there. So just be aware that that's a part of this deal too. Okay, man. I mean, I feel like I pretty well covered this. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your viewership. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and click that little bell thing so you get notified. Due to life circumstances, I have slowed down the release of my videos. But if you like my content, look, I'm going to be publishing. I'm going to be attempting to publish a video at least once or twice a month. So if you sign up for the notifications, you'll find out when that happens. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and goodbye.